So let's talk about this objection called let me think about it. Now, every time I raise this in my workshop, I challenge people, right? And I said, all right, I'll say let me think about it. You tell me what you're going to respond with. What would you respond with? Put it in the chat, right? What would most people respond with? Most people say, well, what do you need to think about? Well, that's kind of, a little confrontational. Well, how much time do you need to think about it, right? And it can go on and on. Well, can we think about this together? Can we think through this together? You hear it feels very awkward. So what I want to do is revisit something. Now, this is going to blow your mind because I came up with this objection, and I want you to look at the date. Since I'm updating this, because this was, let me think about it. And if you look down here, 1.5 million views and about 7 years ago. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to revisit this one because this objection never goes away. But in that podcast I did 7 years ago, I've realized that I've missed something, and that's what I want to share with you today. I'm almost kind of called the let me think about it, version 2.0. And yes, a lot of people have taken my content and passed it off as their own. Not cool. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about why this is important. So when we talk about let me think about it, let's understand why it's important. If someone says, let me think about it, and your response is, well, how much time do you need to think about it? And can we talk about it tomorrow, after you think about it? What happens is that the sales cycle gets longer. Now, for anybody who's been watching me long enough, I talk about the Sales Velocity Academy, in this case, the Sales Velocity Equation. And what's the Sales Velocity Equation? If you take the number of opportunities, right, also known as the number of leads that you currently have, you multiply it by your close rate, you multiply it by your average deal size, right? How much on average do you sell? And then you divide it by your sales cycle, how long it takes you to close a deal from a sales qualified lead to closing a deal. How long does it take you to close? Let me think about it impacts the denominator right here, because the longer it takes to close, the shorter, or I say the slower your sales velocity is. So what we want to do is when someone says, let me think about it, how do we approach that? Now, side note, you got to have this response I'm going to teach you on the ready. By on the ready, I mean it's got to come out of you like sweet like butter. No hesitation, no pause. So if someone says, let me think about it, one thing you don't want to do is like, what do you need to think about? How much time do you need to think about it? If you tell me how much time do I need to think about it, I say, well, I'll just need a few days. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ghost you, right? Not going to show up, right? Or if you say, well, what do you need to think about? Well, I need to think about a lot of things. It just gets uncomfortable, as I've said. So here is the ultimate solution to let me think about it. This works because it goes with how the brain works. See, when you ask somebody, well, what do you need to think about? They got a lot of things in their head, and they can't organize them that quickly to give you the answer you want, right? They need to think about it, sort things out in their head. So what we're going to do is play how the brain plays. In other words, let's understand the brain and then work with the brain to try to get a response out of the client. Here's what I mean. The brain loves choices. Should I go left or should I go right? Should I go up or should I go down? Should I go front or should I go back? Right? The brain loves choices. So we're going to use that choice, option, momentum to keep the conversation going. In other words, we're going to guide the conversation. Notice I didn't say we're going to try to control it. We're going to guide the conversation. So let's begin. If someone says, let me think about it, right? If someone says, let me think about it, then here's what you're going to do. You're going to provide them with an option. And the option is going to be one of two, right? The first one is you say, not interested, or you're interested, but not sure. Here's how I deliver this one. When someone says, for example, let's say, Lauren says, Victor, let me think about it. I'll say, Lauren, when someone tells me they have to think about it, it's usually because they're not interested or they're interested, but not sure. Which one is it? Now, I do this. I use my hands when I deliver this one. It's usually because they're not interested or interested, but not sure. Which one is it? Notice I stayed with the interested, but not sure. The majority of people, 9 out of 10, if not more, are going to say what? No. Victor, I'm interested. I'm just not sure. Now let's slow the film down, the video here. When someone says, no, I'm interested, I'm just not sure. Now, the fact that they said they're interested means you're talking to the right prospect. They're just not sure. So what you need to do is reaffirm that statement. Lauren, I'm glad you're interested, and this is what you're looking for. When someone tells me, here's the transition, when someone tells me they're not sure, it's usually for one of three reasons. Now, pause again. Stop the tape, right? When someone says one of three reasons, your brain immediately goes, what are those three reasons, right? So again, let's go through the script. Let me think about it. Again, when someone tells me they need to think about it because they're not interested or interested but not sure, which one is it? No, Victor, I'm interested. I'm just not sure. Well, I'm glad you're interested, and I'm glad this product is what you're looking for. And when someone tells me, Lauren, that they're not sure, it's usually for one of three reasons. The first one is maybe you don't think that the product we're offering you is a fit. Let's be real specific. Let's use pools, right? Big client base of mine sells pools, right? So maybe I could say to you, Lauren, is this pool not the fit? Is this not what you were looking for? Now, Lauren has to say either yes or no to this one. Again, what are we doing? We're going with the option piece here. And so he has to tell me, is this pool a fit for what you were looking for? In other words, we got the width, the length of the pool, we got, fireplace or fire pit, whatever. Is it not a fit? Lauren now says, no, Victor, it's a fit. Now, if he says, no, it's not a fit, then we correct that, right? But most likely he's going to say, no, it's a fit, Victor. It's a fit. I said, well, Lauren, if it is a fit, then maybe there's some feature, I'll go big screen here, maybe there's some feature that you're looking for that we didn't show you. Is that it? Now, again, notice what I'm doing. I'm funneling the conversation. So again, it is a fit. Glad it's a fit. Well, is it a feature? Is there something that you're looking for that we missed, that we didn't include? Now, again, at this point, Lauren has to tell me, no, Victor, it's got everything I need. But if he doesn't have it, he's going to say, well, I really wanted, this feature in the pool, so forth and so on, right? He wanted that, right? Again, once you have it, you're great. But let's say that, he's going to say, no, Victor, it is a fit. Already we got it out of the way. He says, no, it does have the features I want. It's exactly what I was looking for. Then I'll say this to tie it down, Lauren, and I notice how I repeat this. Lauren, if it is a fit and it has all the features you're looking for, then I have to assume that it's a finance issue. Is that it? Right? Is that it? Now, at this point, you're going to get to the heart of the matter really quick, right? Now, again, we could talk about how we could have pre-qualified this early on in the sales. But assuming you didn't pre-qualify for budget, right? Or you didn't get the number out of them, this is one way of drilling down. So again, let's go through it. Someone says, let me think about it. You say, Lauren, when someone tells me they have to think about it, usually because they're not interested or they're interested but not sure. Which one is it? No, Victor, I'm interested. I'm just, I need some time to think about it. I'm just not sure. Well, Lauren, first of all, I'm glad you're interested. And again, it's always good to think through things. But let me ask you a question, because when someone tells me they have to think about it, they usually have to think about one of three things. Brain leans in. Like, what are those three things? First may be that maybe the pool that I designed for you isn't a fit for what you were looking for. Is that it? Now, notice that the brain just has to go yes or no. Lauren says, no, it's a fit. Then maybe there's some feature that we didn't include that we left out, or maybe that's something you're looking for that we're not aware of. Yes or no? And again, if they tell me, yeah, it's this feature, great, that's a new conversation. Now we deal with that one, that specific feature and that objection. But if they come back and say, no, it has all the features I'm looking for, then repeat the following line. If it is a fit, it has every feature you're looking for, then I have to assume it's finance. Is that it? And again, in many cases, can't give you a percentage, but in many cases, people are going to say, yeah, it's more than I expected to pay. I'm concerned about my monthly payment, and because interest rates are so high. That could be it, right? And sometimes people feel bad about bringing this up. Now, this is what I had in my original video that I posted 7 years ago. Here's something I've learned, because I've seen this happen over and over again. You've qualified up to this point. They're interested but not sure. Then it is a fit. They do have all the features you wanted. They do have the money. And they goes, no, Victor, it's not about the money. It's not the money we got. I just need to think about it. Here's what I've learned. There is a fourth F. In other words, it's a great moment. First F, second F, third F. There's a fourth F. And the fourth F is fear. In other words, something in your presentation didn't make them feel comfortable enough to trust you. This is a tough one to define and explain to people because I have to be there to watch you do the presentation to see where you may have lost them. If a customer doesn't see that you've taken their point of view, I want you to watch my last live. You need to take their point of view and understand what they're really looking for, right? That's their point of view. Second, you need to position yourself as a subject matter expert. In this case, you better know pools exceptionally well because that transmits confidence to the customer. And then if you put a proposal together for them, keep their best interest in mind. In many cases, we lose the deal because we simply don't communicate that confidence or imbue the clients with the confidence. Let me say that again. Many times, what's happening today, especially in the market, there's so much information out there. There's so many options out there that people are looking for somebody to trust, to buy from. So again, if I can empathize with my customer, position myself as a subject matter expert, and they know that. They know that I understand what they're looking for. They know that I understand pools better than anybody else. That gives them the confidence to make a buying decision because that's what's holding people back. You heard of FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. And we now hear FOMO, which is the fear of messing up, making the wrong decision, also known as buyer's regret. Not buyer's remorse. Buyer's regret is making the wrong decision. So instead of making the wrong decision, some people choose not to make a decision rather than be wrong. So here's where you come in. The salesperson today is the ultimate sales differentiator. Product differentiator, service differentiator. Let me say it again. You are the differentiator. In today's market, products almost look alike. Services almost look alike, right? It's hard to create real differentiation in the market, but it's how you present your product, your service to the client that will determine and give them the confidence to want to make a buying decision and go with your company. So if it is a fit, if you've presented all the features exactly to their specification, what they wanted, and it's not a money issue, finance, then somewhere in your presentation, you didn't get rid of fear. And I always say selling is about two things, right? There's certainty, anxiety. Certainty, anxiety. And if there's an equal amount of both, customers won't decide. If there's too much anxiety, obviously they're not going to decide. What is our job in selling, in presenting, in framing a conversation is to increase their certainty and reduce their anxiety. That difference right there between certainty and anxiety creates a confidence margin. And in many cases, if they're not buying, it's because they're not certain and there's too much anxiety. And that's what our job is. So from now on, when someone says, let me think about it, again, funnel them through the process. Let me think about it. When someone tells me I have to think about it, it's usually because they're not interested or interested but not sure. Which one is it? Choice, right? No, I'm interested. I'm just not sure. When someone tells me they're not sure, it's usually for one of three reasons. Which ones? First, is it a fit? Is that it? Yes or no? Yes, it's a fit. Is it a feature we missed? Yes or no? Now you have everything I asked for. Then I have to assume it's finance. Is that it? And again, by having this in your repertoire, your arsenal of conversation flow, you'll have a much better dialogue, but you'll push the sale forward faster. In other words, shorten the sales cycle. Let's look at the alternatives that I mentioned earlier. Most people say, what do you need to think about? How long do you need to think about it? Should I call you tomorrow? Again, it extends the sales cycle. But what you do with this framing is you almost skip over that blockade, that mental block, by helping them think through, funneling down this, helping them think through what they really need to think about. Try it out. Let me know how it works for you. Look forward to your feedback.